3 weeks after the voicemail, I started noticing strange things inside my apartment. Cabinet doors left open, lights turning on by themselves, bathroom mirrors fogging up in the middle of the night. At first, I blamed stress, lack of sleep, anything except the truth, but deep down, I already knew something followed me out of Saint Dorian. The first real sign happened at exactly 3:12 a.m. I remember because the digital clock beside my bed changed to 3:12 the exact moment my bedroom door slowly opened by itself. Not slammed, not pushed, just slowly opening. I sat upright immediately. The hallway outside my room was completely dark. Then I heard hospital intercom static somewhere inside my apartment. At first, I thought maybe a neighbor had a TV on, but the sound became clearer, closer. Then the voice spoke.
Patient transport arriving.
Every hair on my body stood up instantly. Then I heard wheels squeaking across my hallway floor. Like a hospital bed being pushed toward my bedroom. I grabbed my phone flashlight. The sound stopped immediately. The hallway was empty, but something wet had been dragged across the floor, a long, dark trail leading toward my kitchen. I followed it slowly. The apartment felt freezing cold, and when I stepped into the kitchen, every cabinet door was open, all of them. Then the radio sitting on my counter turned on by itself. At first there was only static, then whispers. Dozens of overlapping voices speaking at once, panicked, confused, desperate. Then one voice became clear.
Please don't leave us here.
The radio shut off instantly, and behind me, something exhaled. Right beside my ear. I spun around so fast I dropped my phone. Nobody there. Nothing. But my refrigerator door was slowly swinging open, and written in condensation on the glass shelf was room 312. I didn't sleep the rest of that night. The next morning I drove to my brother Tyler's house across town. I hadn't told anyone about the voicemail or the things happening in my apartment because, honestly, I was afraid people would think I was losing my mind. But when Tyler opened the door, the first thing he asked me was, "Why do you smell like smoke?" I remember just staring at him. Then he quietly explained something that made my stomach drop. Ever since I worked at Saint Dorian, I smelled like antiseptic and burned metal, even though nobody else seemed to notice it. That night I finally told him everything. The voices, the apartment, the breathing. Room 312. Tyler listened without interrupting once, Then he asked me something strange. "Did you ever go below the surgery wing?" I told him no, and he actually looked relieved. Then he explained his ex-girlfriend used to work at Saint Dorian years before the fire. According to her, the hospital had sealed an entire lower level beneath the building after repeated complaints from staff. Patients hearing voices, equipment turning on by itself, people seeing figures standing in rooms that were supposed to be empty, and according to several nurses, some patients claimed the hospital was calling them downstairs late at night. Nobody officially investigated it. Then the fire happened. After hearing that, I should have stayed away forever. But once something gets inside your head, you need answers. Two nights later, I drove back to Saint Dorian. The hospital was completely abandoned now. No emergency clinic, no staff, no lights. The parking lot looked worse than before. Frozen puddles, broken ambulance windows, snow blowing through empty entrances. I almost turned around twice before going inside, but part of me needed to know what room 312 really was. The front entrance had been chained shut, so I climbed through a broken maintenance door near the loading area. The smell hit me instantly. Mold, dust, and something metallic underneath it, like old blood. The hospital felt dead now, not abandoned. Dead, no electrical hum, no distant machines, nothing. Then somewhere above me, the intercom crackled softly.
Night staff report to lower intake.
I froze instantly. Then somewhere deep below the building, I heard screaming. Not loud, muffled, like dozens of people crying through walls. Every instinct told me to leave. Instead, I followed the sound. The stairwell leading underground wasn't marked on the original building map. I only found it because one of the basement storage doors had been left slightly open. Inside was a narrow concrete staircase disappearing into darkness. The deeper I went, the colder the air became, and with every step, the smell got worse. Eventually, I reached another hallway. Old hospital beds lined the walls, covered in dust sheets. Most of the lights were dead, but a few emergency bulbs still glowed faint red overhead. That's when I saw the wheelchairs, dozens of them, all facing the same direction, toward a pair of metal doors at the end of the corridor. And every wheelchair was occupied. At first I thought they were mannequins. Then one of them moved, very slowly, its head turning toward me. The figure sitting in the wheelchair looked burned, skin blackened, eyes cloudy, hospital gown melted into its body. Then another head turned, then another. One by one, every patient slowly looked toward me, and together they started breathing. the exact same breathing from room 312. I ran toward the metal doors without thinking. Behind me, the hallway exploded with movement. Something slammed repeatedly against the walls while they followed me. I reached the doors and shoved them open. Inside was an old surgical observation room. Most of the equipment had melted during the fire, but in the center of the room there was still one hospital bed, and strapped to that bed was a body, burned beyond recognition, but still breathing slowly, mechanically. Its chest rising and falling underneath the restraints. Then every speaker in the room activated at once. Patient return complete. The body on the bed suddenly opened its eyes and smiled at me. Then the restraints snapped open. The body sat upright instantly, bones cracking, burned skin stretching. And all the wheelchairs outside the room started moving toward the doorway at once. The burned patients were standing now, watching me. Then the thing on the bed spoke. Its voice sounded like dozens of voices layered together.
You left us downstairs.
The lights exploded above me. Complete darkness swallowed the room. Then I felt hands grabbing my arms. Cold, wet hands pulling at me from every direction. I started screaming and swinging blindly. Somehow I broke free and ran back into the hallway. The patients followed immediately, dragging feet, wheelchairs crashing into walls, dozens of voices whispering behind me. Then the intercom screamed louder than before. Do not leave the lower level. Emergency lights suddenly activated across the corridor, and for a split second, I saw every burned patient standing completely still. Facing me, hundreds of them, not dozens, hundreds. Some missing jaws, some burned beyond recognition, some still attached to IV poles and melted hospital beds, and all of them smiling. Then every emergency light shut off again, and something started running toward me in the dark, fast, much faster than before. I sprinted blindly toward the stairwell. The screaming behind me became deafening. Wheelchairs crashing, metal dragging, people crying. Then suddenly, everything stopped. I reached the staircase and looked back one last time. And standing at the end of the hallway was the burned woman from room 312, completely still, Then she whispered something softly. You were supposed to stay. I ran all the way back to the parking lot and never returned to Saint Dorian again. But sometimes late at night, I still wake up hearing hospital intercom static somewhere inside my apartment, and every single time, the voice says the exact same thing.
Visiting hours are over.